we go through 1,000 media members at the SEC Media Day, and I don't know why, but we feel like we need to go up to ESPN. So they make us go to ESPN on Monday, even though we've talked to everybody, and then it's a whole nother ordeal. And you know, this year for me was different for a number of reasons. And I told the local media right when I got down to Birmingham, we're at the point where it's like that Elvis song, a little less conversation and a little more action. I mean, that's about where we are, that song that Ocean's 11 made famous. But I do feel like I'm at a point, and I've said this often, that I feel better about where we are today than at any point since I came to Knoxville 2.5 years ago. And the number one reason that I feel better is because of the state of our roster, which ultimately, as you guys know, is the most important thing we have. It's our players. For the first time, we're going into a season with a full roster, 85 guys. And, you know, I think our first year here, we started with about 65 out there. And each year, we've tried to build it back up. You can't fix it all in one. We have more experience than we've ever had going into a season. 19 starters are back, and you guys that have listened to me recently know that I give some examples of where we were and where we are. The offensive line is the best one because when I was speaking to you guys 2 years ago, we were going into a season with a combined 3 starts, and now we're going in with 106 combined. I thought it was 90-something, but Jimmy, who's here to make sure I don't give the wrong data, corrected me. 106 starts. But think about our quarterback position as well. 2 years ago, we were going into the season with a group that had never played in the SEC, and now we got a group that started 20 games. So that gives you cause for a little of excitement. Of course, I feel like we're more talented and deeper than we've been the last 2 years. For the first time at SEC Media Days, I was getting asked about some of our players because they're preseason this and you know, this guy's on this watch and this guy's on this, and even though it makes you a little nervous about some of the publicity some of the guys are getting, you'd rather have them asking about them than saying who's y'all's guy here and who's your guy here. So that makes you feel a little bit better. The talent level has increased. Do we have some big concerns? Of course we do. We don't have a proven corner who's going out there and covering guys left and right. We don't have proven all-conference D linemen that have stepped up that you got to have in this league. We don't have a running back who's kind of taking the reins. We have concerns, but we're a lot deeper and we're more talented, and that's a cause for a little of excitement. But the biggest thing that excites me is watching the maturation of our guys on the team. And what do I mean by that? You know, there's a great book out. It's kind of a follow-up because you guys have heard me talk about this generation of young people, but it's called Artificial Maturity. And it's talking about how when you learn, as you learn in life, there's 2 ways you learn. There's an intellectual component of reading, seeing, people telling you, so you're processing all this in your brain that you, okay, I got that. But then there's that more important part of experiences. And he talks about how this generation, with the advent of information, social media, how they have more access to information than ever before. So their capacity to get knowledge is greater than ever, but because of their sedentary nature, the experiences are less and less. And so there's this artificial level of, I got it figured out. But we all know when you haven't experienced the things in life, and certainly in our sport, you're not quite there yet from a maturity standpoint. This team's been through a lot the last couple of years. And I really saw a change when they came back in January. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the criticism and the disappointment that we don't realize how much how we ended the season affected our players in a good way, in the right way. I think there was a level of embarrassment in how we represented you guys, and they were ready to do something about it, and they were ready to take responsibility for it. And certainly I started the day after doing that from a coaching standpoint, but it was great to see these guys start maturing. There's a level of time that has happened that's natural in its process, so the emotional maturity is a lot greater. I've seen a level of commitment different out there with the team, and I think that stems from the disappointments, from the experience of knowing the margin of error in this league, that if you don't come to work and commit yourself every day, you're going to get whipped because the state of the competition is better than ever. And I've seen a big change in our team chemistry and leadership, and it's a fun group to be around, and I mean that. And so, when I made that statement, of course, it's a lot better when people say I came out and said you're not going to kick Tennessee around anymore. But what I really said was there's a nice mood on our team that you're not going to kick Tennessee around anymore, and our players believe it. I think that we're ready to go out there and go toe-to-toe with every team in our league, and it does not mean that we've arrived, because our biggest challenge now is you can go toe-to-toe with them, but when you're down 6 in the fourth quarter or down 5 in the fourth quarter or up 3 in the fourth quarter, are you going to possess a level of grit that it takes to win the football game? And that's going to be our challenge this year. People are shocked if you think about this now, because we all have seen Tennessee win. We've all experienced it. I have before I got here. You guys have lived it. But the guys on our team, the last 4 years has been a tough hoe. And they've never experienced winning. And so that's what our goal is this year, that we got to jump that hurdle and start experience winning.